So agenda for today's session is we are going to talk about what is AI, what is ML, what are the different building blocks of AI and ML, how industry trends towards AI and ML, how they are adopting it, what is data science. These terminologies are big terminologies, but they have a very simple meaning. So what are the current trend techniques, best practices that we are going to talk about AI ML, how organizations are operationalizing models using this, what are supervised machine learning, what is unsupervised machine learning, what is reinforcement learning, different use cases in different industries. We are talking about why Python made so popular, what made Python so popular in last 10 years or 8 years. Previously, people used to work on Java, C, C++, but nowadays Python is a programming language of today's world. I'll talk about why it is so popular in today's world and compare with R programming language. So there are only two programming languages, Python and R, through which we can do machine learning. I'll tell you what is machine learning. What are neural networks? We'll talk about deep learning. So I'll discuss what is neural networks and what is deep learning. What are the different frameworks that is used in Python for implementing deep learning, and what are GPUs, graphical processing units, for the deep learning model. So as Shrung has already asked, like what is AI, what is ML, and what is DL. Before that, we need to understand why these technologies took so many years to come in front of us. Although these terminologies are very old, 1956 the AI word was coined, it took almost 70 years for us to reach to the level of generative AI right now. So if you talk about 1950s or late in 1950s or 60s, the major challenge was a hardware device. I still remember in my college days or school days, we used to buy a floppy drive, which was of 1.44 MB. That's a very small device, a small hardware, which we plug it into floppy drive and then we store the data into it. 1.44 MB was so costly at that point of time. I still remember it was costing 10 rupees in 1996. And 1.44 MB device was so unreliable. If you keep it in the open, it goes waste. Because of humidity, because of temperature, it is very, very unreliable. Hardly you can use it and rewrite it for not more than 5 times. So hardware was a major challenge. Again, the challenge was of storage. The storage was very expensive. Again, the challenge was of programming languages. They were more hardware friendly rather than user friendly. There were challenges of computational power, CPU power. So there are a lot of challenges. Nowadays, all these challenges are overcome by the cloud environment, AWS, Azure, GCP clouds, where data can be stored easily, 24/7 accessibility from anywhere in the world. So all these challenges were there, and because of that, it took so many years for machines to evolve. So already answered what is AI and which one is the oldest one. So I think most of you have used AI in today's world. When you unlock your phone, you're using AI. When you talk to Alexa, you use AI. When you navigate the roads using Google Maps, you are using AI. There are so many applications in front of us. Now, if you talk about which one is the oldest one, AI, ML or DL, I'll come to the answer. AI is the oldest technology, oldest terminology. It came in 1950s, and AI is a terminology which was majorly used for any machine which can mimic human behavior. So what is AI? In very simple terms, AI is anything which mimics human behavior and which improves over time. That is important aspect. Anything which learns and improves. So if you say robotics is AI, no, it is a part of AI. It is not learning something new. But when anything which learns and improves over time, we call it as artificially intelligent machine. When it was coined in 1950s, this is a very old terminology. Now, why AI is required and why cloud environment is required? If you talk about, you can see throughout the world 204 million emails are sent every minute. There are 20 new victims to identify theft, 47,000 apps are getting downloaded, and more than 1,300 new mobile users are coming online. 20 million photo views are happening on the different social medias, and you can see there's a huge blast of information on the internet in today's world. In order to cater this kind of information, you cannot store it in a single laptop or a single machine. You need a cloud environment where all the machines are connected to each other using Hadoop or Spark technology, and you can access the data from there. So humanly, it is not possible for anyone to cater this amount of information or get the insights from the information. And you can see all the data is unstructured. Some are photos, some are videos, some are music, some are smileys, some are text. So many unstructured data is there in today's world, and in order to process that amount of unstructured data, we need some kind of a tool or technology which can cater this amount of data and do some analytics onto it. So what is artificial intelligence? As I told you, artificial intelligence is nothing but anything which mimics human behavior. I'll give you a simple example. If you remember around 5 years or 10 years back, when you wanted to have your blood group check or wanted to have a statistics of blood, what is RBC count, WBC count, platelet count, we used to go to a diagnostic center, give a drop of blood, And then they used to take 5 days to come up with a report, and we need to wait for that, and we need to collect it by going there and showing it to the doctor. But nowadays, what happens? As soon as you give the drop of blood to them, within 10 minutes, they give you the basic statistics of the blood, until it requires some wait time. Now, machines are doing the same thing what humans were doing, and that is called as an artificially intelligent machine. Although it's not improving over time, but the technical definition of artificial intelligence is anything which mimics human behavior and improves over time. But yes, we can say it's a basic level artificial intelligence the machine is depicting. So getting the data from the cloud and generating what, Nagaraja?
What we required.
What we required. Okay, that's a good answer. I'll explain in a very layman terms what is machine learning, as if I'm explaining to a small kid, so that you can understand the crux of it. So most of you, I think not most of you, many of you are going to astrologer just to find the future, right? So when we go to the astrologer, we say, okay, my job is not going good, my health is not keeping well, or I have some personal problems. Can you please suggest something? And you say, okay, why don't you wear some stone, pukhraj or ruby or any stone? And after 3 months, you will see the change in you. And you go back and you buy expensive stones and expensive ring of gold, and you spend $50,000 to get it, and after 3 months you realize nothing happened. So what will be your reaction? Your reaction will be, okay, I wasted a whole lot of my money. I wasted the money in consultation with the astrologer. I wasted my money on buying the ring and stone. Nothing has happened. But initially, when you went to the astrologer, your thought was what? Your thought was to predict something with a great accuracy. Your aspiration was that the astrologer should give you the suggestion or solution which is 100% foolproof, and after spending that $50,000, I should get the results. That is machine learning. Anything when you are predicting for future based on historical data, we call it as machine learning. I'll repeat the definition. Anything which predicts the future based on historical data, it is called machine learning. I'll take example. Suppose I have a last 20-year sales of a car of a company. Every month, every day, how many cars are selling and what type of cars are selling. Is it a high-end car, middle-end car, low-end car? If I have a data of the last 20 years of this company, maybe Maruti Suzuki, if they give me the data, I can do prediction what will be your sale next month. Will it not be a wonder for the company? Yes, of course. They can mitigate the risk. If the sale is going to be dropped down in the upcoming month, they will focus more on marketing. They will not focus on production. If the sale is going to be doubled in upcoming 3 months, they will focus more on production. They will not focus on marketing. So if you come to know the future beforehand and mitigate the risk by taking some action today, it is going to be a wonder for you. Similarly, when you watch Netflix, you keep on watching thriller movies on Netflix. You will realize Netflix recommends you more thriller movies, which is of your taste. So what it is predicting? It is predicting your taste, your likings, and based on that, it is giving more options to you. So I'll come with a lot of examples what is machine learning. So in machine learning, in the layman terms, is anything which mimics human behavior and which predicts the future for you with a great accuracy. Now, what is deep learning? Anyone, please raise your hand. What is deep learning? I want to hear from you, your understanding. What is deep learning? So we have 30 plus people who have joined, right? Don't be shy. Please raise your hand. It's an interactive session. Step-to-step knowledge is called deep learning. Okay. Let me explain what is deep learning. Now, deep learning is a subset of machine learning. Deep learning is a subset of machine learning. It is again predicting the future for you. Now, if you see data science is a big domain, artificial intelligence is a subset of data science. Data science comprises of a lot of things. I'll come to the next slide. Machine learning is a subset of artificial intelligence, which is predicting future for you. Deep learning is again machine learning, which is predicting future for you, but for unstructured data. Machine learning fails when your data is multidimensional. What do you mean by multidimensional? Imagine an image. Image has got pixels. Every pixel has got value, red, green and blue, RGB 0 to 255. So pixels are comprised of 3 dimensions. 3 dimension means R, red, green and blue value. When you supply this kind of a data to a deep learning, machine learning algorithm, you will see the predictions are very wrong. The image recognition is not done by machine learning in a very good way. You supply 100 images of cats, 100 images of dogs, and then you supply a new image of a cat or a dog, machine will not be able to predict in machine learning. But the same concept, if you apply in deep learning, you supply 100 images of cats, 100 images of dogs, machine learns the patterns in those images and it predicts for the new image correctly whether it's a cat or a dog. So machine learning fails when the data is multi-dimensional. That is also known as curse of dimensionality in technical words. Deep learning passes in all those unstructured data, let's say smileys, WhatsApp messages, text, any unstructured data if you talk about. But deep learning is a rescue, and deep learning concept was given by Google. They made the first library in Python called TensorFlow for the deep learning, and since then it is growing day by day. So deep learning is, you can say, is not at an adult state, it's still in infancy state, and a lot of research is going on in deep learning. In machine learning, you have to select the columns using which you want to predict something. Suppose you want to predict the crop yield. So for crop yield, what is important? Humidity, rainfall, temperature, soil type. These are the 4 important fields. If you supply these fields, crop yield will be correctly predicted. But imagine you add one more column there, number of phone calls farmer is making. In the historical data, you add one more column, number of phone calls farmer is making on the daily basis. Will you get the right crop yield? No, because the equation was made wrong. So in machine learning, you have to select what all columns you need for the prediction. So there are 2 reasons why deep learning came. One is curse of dimensionality. Second is feature selection is manual. You have to select manually what all columns are required for prediction. As I told you, Ankit, deep learning is a subset of machine learning, which is again doing the prediction. Machine learning aim is to do prediction. Deep learning aim is also to do the prediction. But machine learning works only on the 2-dimensional data. 2-dimensional data means like an Excel sheet. You have rows and columns. If you have data in a 2-dimensional format, then machine learning algorithms works well in prediction in a tabular format. But deep learning algorithms can work on unstructured data. Unstructured data like images, sound, music. Let's say I play a music in front of a machine. Lata Mangeshkar is speaking or singing a song. Machine can identify, okay, this singer is Lata. If Donald Trump is giving a speech, machine can identify, okay, this is not Narendra Modi, this is Donald Trump. That can be done by deep learning. Machine learning fails over there. That's the difference. So what are the building blocks of AI ML? There are 3 important things when you're building AI ML solution. AI means artificial intelligence, ML means machine learning. So whenever you want to implement AI ML solution, you need to consider 3 things. First thing is it should be reliable and robust. Your prediction should be good enough to take action. It is of no use when the prediction is of very less accuracy. You cannot implement it. It has to have a reliable and robust architecture. It should be deployed on cloud. People can use it. People can get benefit out of it. Like for example, Google Maps. If you see, it is collecting information from all the mobile phones who are traveling on the road and giving information to you. It is very, very accurate. Plus minus 1 minute, it is accurate. Similarly, the new business model brings largest AI benefits. So whenever you have AI in your organization, it should bring some monetary benefits to the organization. Even if not monetary, if you talk about government side, it should be citizen-centric. For example, cyclone is going to be there in certain area in South India. If the government can understand, the weather department can know cyclone is going to be there in upcoming one day, they can evacuate the people from there. They can save lives from there. So we need to get the AI benefits for the citizens, for the company in terms of making profits. Why Netflix people prefer, although it's very expensive as compared to other OTT channels? Because Netflix gives you that quality. It gives you the recommendations. Why Amazon is so popular in today's world? When you buy a laptop, Amazon recommends why don't you buy a laptop bag as well. You might have seen when you buy a laptop, it recommends you why don't you buy a laptop bag as well. Why don't you buy insurance for it as well? So there is no human intervention on the back end. It's a machine which is predicting what next item you are going to buy. So it should bring benefits to the organization. So Amazon is improving their sales by recommending better products, more likely products. If I am a person who buys always worth rupees 20,000 rupees mobile phone once in a year or twice in a year, Amazon is never going to recommend me Apple iPhone. Based on my profile, based on my gender, based on my location, based on my likings, based on my past purchases, it is recommending things to me. And that is what the business benefits comes from. If it starts recommending me wrong thing, I will never buy it. Last and the very important thing is ethics. Without AI without ethics is a recipe for disaster. Imagine you develop an AI solution and that solution is making lives of people more miserable or making company faces a lot of losses. It will be a disaster. I'll give you one example of this. Sometime in the back, I don't recall the year, Uber was working in United Kingdom, UK, London, and there was a blast in London. And the Uber algorithm was made in such a way, when there is a high demand, it is called as surge charging. They charge more. You might have noticed in India as well. During morning hours, when you're going to office or to college, anywhere, the charges of the same place of 10 kilometers is doubled. But during the afternoon, when there is no traffic on the road, the same place 10-kilometer charges are much lesser. If you book a Ola Uber midnight, 12 a.m. or 1 a.m., the charges will be doubled. All the roads are empty because they know people are in an emergency. They need to go. They will pay more. And same thing happened in London when the blast happened. The surge charging happened over there. And there was a case against the Uber, like when the people actually needed Uber to go back to the home during the crisis, why the charges went so high. And that's the reason ethics comes into picture. Even if you're implementing AI, ML or DL, anything, ethics is very important. Otherwise, it will be a disaster. Now, if you talk about data science approach, data science is a multidisciplinary approach, which is consisting of a lot of things like statistics, machine learning, artificial intelligence, data mining, data augmentation, business analytics, strategy, domain knowledge. So anything related to data, whatever we are doing, it is called as a data science. Let it be viewing a graph, let it be doing some statistical analysis, like correlation, covariance, kurtosis, Z-score, anything. Let it be pattern recognition, let it be data processing, data mining. Mining means taking the data from a repository, maybe from a cloud, maybe from a database. Everything, when the word data comes into picture, it is called as a data science. So in data science methodology, there are 4 steps. First of all, we formulate the question. What is the question? What is the problem area? To solve that, we gather the data, we analyze it, and we evaluate whether the model is predicting well or not. If it is predicting well, we deploy it on a server. So that is a completely broader structure of data science. When we have a question in hand, we gather the data to find the facts and figures. We create a model to predict something on that data, and then we make it as a product which is deployed on the server. Like Amazon, they know the gender, they know the location, they know the purchasing trends, they know the spending power, they know everything about you. And based on that, they gather all the data and then recommend what exactly you want, doing predictive analytics. So there are 2 approaches in data science, top down and bottom up. I'll not take a deep dive into it. Top down means you have a question in hand, you come to the solution by coming to facts and figures. Second is a bottom up, you have answers, you come to the question. What can be solved? I'll take a small example. If Amazon already has your details like gender, location, age, income, purchasing trends, you mean to say, and all other details. Based on that, they can recommend you product which is of your liking. They will never recommend Apple iPhone if your spending power is less than 20,000 or less than 50,000 or 60,000 per month. They will never recommend you. And based on a recent liking as well. So if you talk about AI and ML practices worldwide, how many companies are using at what sectors, you'll realize that volume means the breadth and frequency of the data, what they're catering, and the impact, how much they're doing on their businesses. You will see personalized advertising is at the highest impact and highest volume. You might have seen when you watch a YouTube video, suppose you watch a cooking video, and soon you will realize YouTube is full of cooking videos for you. Previously it was not there. It is making your search more customized. Suppose you want to apply for a PhD in any university. You just browse on the browser how many universities are there who are giving PhD degree in 2025, 2026, where I can do the enrollment. You do 2 or 3 searches on different browsers or search a video on a YouTube. You'll realize in your Facebook also, they are recommending institutes for you. Similarly, navigating roads, we are using it on the day-to-day basis. Personal financial products. Suppose you are looking for a loan, instantly you'll see 10 companies are approaching you for the loans. Similarly, diagnosing a disease, optimizing clinical trials, predictive maintenance in manufacturing, optimizing merchandising strategy. So most of the companies here are using, all the companies in fact are using AI, ML and these technologies. And this is a organization how they are using it in different areas. For real-time optimization, strategic optimization, predictive analytics, you can see almost every company is using for predictive analytics. And automotive is using it. It is in very light color. Like Tesla is one of the examples which is in front of you where manless car is there. Similarly, for predictive maintenance, radical personalization, forecasting almost every company is doing it. Forecasting is nothing but a predictive analytics. Processing the unstructured data, most of the companies are using it. So these are some of the applications of machine learning. Sensor-based lighting system in India, you might have seen somewhere. I have not noticed much. In US, it is common, like when you go to the highway, you'll realize when the car is approaching near to certain area, the automatic lights get lighten up because they are sensor-based lights. They sense the motion detection, and based on that, automatically lights get on. And when the car passes off, lights goes off. So they are saving huge amount of electricity over there. Automatic number plate recognition system. This is very common. You might have seen on the highways, if you're over speeding above the speed of 100 and the limit is 100, the challan comes automatically to you. There is no human intervention. Similarly, facial access. You might have seen in most of the offices, most of the places, it is scanning your retina and understanding who you are. Similarly, resume-based bot filtering. This is very common in all the companies nowadays. You might have realized that when you apply for a job, almost like hundreds of applications are there with HR, and it is humanly not possible to read all the resumes and filter out. And even for the visa processing, you might have realized if you have applied for immigration visa to Canada, previously it used to take 60 days for your visa to approve or reject. But nowadays you get the result in 1 week because they automatically filter out the resumes which were the good ones, which are not the ones. Similarly, in water leakage system, sensors are there which are sending data to the cloud every second, and based on the frequency of the data it is coming, the outliers it is going to detect and find out whether water leakages are there in the pipes or not. Similarly, automated air conditioning. This you might have observed in certain offices. I've seen that, like when anybody is not sitting in the room, AC gets off automatically. But as soon as you enter the room, AC switches on automatically. You might have seen in some of the companies where this automatic lighting system is also there. As soon as you enter the room, the lights get on, otherwise it gets off. Similarly, Netflix is one of the examples wherein Netflix is, you might have seen, like when you watch thriller movies, it is always recommending you more thriller movies based on your liking and disliking. So over 75% what you watch on the Netflix is recommended by the Netflix. Similarly, Facebook, when you go to Facebook, you move a mouse pointer onto the face, it automatically gives you the name of a person. So that is example of CNN. Somebody was asking. That is example of CNN, convolutional neural network. It is recognizing the face and understanding the name of a person. Alexa, all of you might have used. When you speak in front of Alexa, Alexa is understanding the words. The words are converted into tokens. Tokens are converted into numbers. On those numbers, prediction happens. And then when the prediction happens, it comes back to Alexa. Alexa converts them into words and give it back to you. So Alexa is nothing but a natural language processing application, NLP. And there's a library in Python called NLTK which does this. That is NLP, natural language processing. Spam filtering, all of you have observed that in your Gmail, in your personal email accounts or official email accounts, spam emails automatically go to spam folders based on the keywords like lottery, prize. So based on certain keyword, it is filtering out your mails. So machine learning is the future of the industry, demand for today. More than 4 million jobs globally are anticipated by end of 2025 for the professionals who are well equipped with the machine learning, data science concepts. Now, I'll tell you the roadmap, what needs to be done to get over there. So before that, we have seen what is machine learning. Machine learning is nothing but anything which predicts future for you. There are 3 types of machine learning. Again, if you segregate machine learning into 3 various types of problems. One is called supervised machine learning, where as a supervisor, you are training something. As a supervisor, you are telling, okay, this is apple, this is grape, this is banana, this is how apple looks like, this is how the shape of apple is, color of apple is. You are telling everything to the machine from the scratch, and based on that, when a new fruit comes, it predicts whether it's an apple or not. That is supervised machine learning. When you have a labeled data means you know the column headings in 2-dimensional data. I took example of humidity, rainfall, temperature, and crop yield. If you know humidity of last 20 years, temperature of last 20 years, crop yield of last 20 years, you can predict the crop yield tomorrow. That is supervised machine learning. You know your data in and out completely. Unsupervised machine learning is the one when you do not know your data completely. Suppose I give you a bucket of fruits. I tie the handkerchief on your eyes. I close your eyes. I make you close your eyes and ask you, okay, touch this fruit and tell me what it is. And you touch it and say, okay, it's orange. So based on your experience of the past fruits throughout your life, which you have eaten, you recognize, okay, this fruit is orange. That is unsupervised machine learning. When you supply a huge amount of data, you don't know what this data is all about. Machine finds the hidden patterns and cluster it into different clusters. Okay, this is cluster 1 having same similarities. This is cluster 2 having same similarities. So whenever we do clustering, we call it unsupervised. One of the examples can be a loan, a credit card disbursement. You might have observed, if you're earning well, you get a lot of credit card calls. Why don't you take credit card? But if you're not earning well, you are a student, let's say, you're not earning at all, for example, you'll not get a even single call for the credit card. So how do they know? Looking at the bank balances, the bank knows what is the debit balance, what is the credit balance. They know your income, they know your spending. They will offer the credit card to the people who have a high spending and high earning. They will never give a credit card to a person who has a high spending and low earning. Or in fact, low earning and low spending. So based on the historical past trends of your data, they cluster into 4 clusters, and people having high earning and high spending, they give the credit card to those people. That is unsupervised machine learning. Reinforcement learning is a learning with experience, slow and gradual learning. For example, a kid, when you go to the preschool, then you go to the first standard till 12th standard, you learn a lot of things, history, civics, geography, mathematics, so many subjects. After going to graduation, you specialized in certain subject. After going to post-graduation, you again specialized into certain area. And today, you know a lot of things from different domains. It was not possible in a single day. It took 20 years, 25 years, 30 years, still 40 years, 50 years, whatever the age is, people are learning on the daily basis. That is reinforcement learning with experience in a slow and gradual manner. Tesla is one of the best examples. It took 20 years for the scientists to build up Tesla. Every day they gave some thousands of images to the car in a simulated environment. Car takes some action, right or wrong. If it is a right action, it gives reward. If it's a wrong action, it gives some penalty. For the penalty, it gives some policies. Don't do this. If you see a red light, you have to stop. Don't move at the red light. And time has come now, machine knows millions of images from the road, from the different terrain, what action to take. And that is called as a reinforcement learning. So supervised machine learning, I already told you, we already tell the machine, this is duck, this is not a duck. We supply the model, machine learning model, and model is created as a predictive model. And when a new image is supplied, machine can predict whether it's a duck or any other animal. So supervised machine learning is examples are document classifier. System already know what is the extension of the file. It's a text file, it's a PDF file, it's a JPG file, and based on that, it is putting into different folders. Similarly, weather prediction, we'll know the last 20 years, 25 years or last 50 years data on the daily basis. Based on that, we can predict what is going to be the temperature tomorrow. Fingerprint analysis, we already store our fingerprints. When you buy a new mobile phone, you might have observed, you touch your fingerprint panel multiple times, 10 times at different angles. And based on that, it is collecting the information 10 times. And from the 11th time, it understands whether this fingerprint belongs to you or not. So these are some of the examples of algorithms in supervised machine learning. I'll not go into details of this. These are all statistical examples. One of the prerequisites for machine learning and deep learning is that you should be very good in statistics. It's a backbone of artificial intelligence. Unsupervised example is, we don't know what these animals are. We don't know the label data. We cluster it into 3 different clusters based on their similarities and dissimilarities. So long beaks are together, long ears are together, canine teeth are together. So based on similarities and dissimilarities, we are putting everything into different clusters. So party in his house, example, Lata Mangeshkar is speaking. Without even looking at the face of Lata Mangeshkar, you can figure it out, okay, who was singing. That is unsupervised machine learning. Similarly, football match, if you're very new to football, you don't know the rules, you don't know what is this going on. Based on the dress code of the players, you can come to know, okay, this player is against this player, or this team is against this team. So you clustered into different clusters. So similarly, system does the same thing. It clusters based on similarities and dissimilarity. Amazon has thousands of products. Based on similarities and dissimilarities, it is clubbing all the items together, all the grocery items together, all the mobile phones together, all the electronic items together. You might have seen when you go to Amazon homepage, you will see different categories. Based on those categories, it is clustering things together based on similarities and dissimilarities. So these are some of the examples of unsupervised machine learning. K nearest neighbor is more of a supervised learning. It's K means clustering, which is unsupervised. C means clustering, agglomerative clustering are the other examples. Reinforcement learning is learning with experience. I'll tell you a story about Pavlov's dog. Pavlov gave this concept of reinforcement learning. So he was having a dog, he used to feed him on a daily basis. One day he started ringing a bell and gave a food to a dog. And he realized dog was reacting nothing. He kept on ringing the bell and gave a food to a dog every time. For 10 days, he does the same thing. Rings a bell, give a food to a dog, rings a bell, give a food to a dog. On the 11th day, he realized when he rings the bell, dog starts salivating without looking at the food. So what he did, he trained the dog in 10 days. That is reinforcement learning. You cannot be done in a one day. You cannot make a dog train on a one day by ringing a bell and start salivating. So this is reinforcement learning. You keep on supplying more and more images to the machine. Machine understands from every image, learns from there, takes some action. And the time has come when machine knows every image what action to take. So what you can do with machine learning, you can find the market value of the house, you can find which type of house lies in which segment, whether mail is spam or not, whether any fraudulent transaction is happening or not. All these things can be done. Now, if you talk about use cases of machine learning, it can be used to find whether a person is a male or a female. You supply an image, machine identifies whether a person is a male or a female, or even with more accuracy, who is this famous person? Is the male spam or not? Whether the cancer is malignant or benign, whether the product is highly selling or less selling, and doing market basket analysis. It can be used for fraud in transaction, for if somebody is trying to hack your network, it can identify that. It can find fraudulent calls. So nowadays, when you see on mobile phones, even if you are not having Truecaller, Airtel and other companies are giving you spam. You might have observed spam call. The backend automatically identifies whether this call is spam or not. We can find market value of the house. We can find whether it's going to be rainy day tomorrow or not. House lies in which segment, customer wise, which kind of products. Or manless car, Tesla, I have already given the example. In robotics also, it is getting implemented. So there are so many things. Even in the banking domain, it can be used for resource management, predictive analytics, finding the new patterns, customer behavior, personalization. You might have seen when you log into your ICICI Bank or any banking portal, it is more customized for you rather than it is common. It gives you a portfolio. A lot of applications nowadays on your mobile phones like Cred and others who are tracking your credit card, it can give you the portfolio. You spent on food items this much, you've spent on traveling this much, you spent on tickets this much. It is giving you the categorization of your expenses and predict it next month is going to be what. Similarly, for marketing, insurance, land use, seismic studies, we can use machine learning extensively. I'll come directly to the deep learning. Why Python is important? So Python is a programming language which made this possible without writing huge amount of code. All these things can be possible in C, C++, or Java. But you need to write the algorithms of all these linear regression, logistic regression from scratch. And it is statistically very difficult. You need to be a statistician, PhD in stats to write down those algorithms. Although implementation is looks simple, but statistically they are very exhaustive. So for that, you need some tool or programming language which can do all these things in the backend for you, and you just need to be worried about the logic of your current data. And Python made it possible. Python has a library called sklearn. If you just import the library and write sklearn.linear regression, automatically linear regression whole logic comes into picture. You don't have to be worried about the backend. For example, when you drive the car, you are least bothered about the engine details. You are least bothered about how brakes are working, coolant is working. You are just bothered about your driving. And that is what Python is. It is giving you the interface wherein you are least bothered about all these algorithms. You are just worried about using it. So Python is easy to learn. It's an open source. It is a very high level programming language. You can write Python code in MacBook, port it into Linux to Ubuntu, Ubuntu to Solaris. Any environment you can port it. It supports different programming language. You can write the C++ code and integrate with Python code. You can write the Python code in object-oriented programming methodology. That's one of the programming methodologies. So it is improving programmers' productivity. It is improving the debugging time. It is object-oriented programming so that it's robust in nature. It is interpreted, dynamic, interpretable, and it is very much portable to different environment. I'll give last 10 minutes for the questionnaire. I'm keeping watch on my time. Although this is a very exhaustive topic, I can speak full day on this. But in order to cover in a very short time, I'm covering all the important parts. I'll give you 10 minutes for Q&A. So if you talk about difference in R and Python, both can do machine learning. Deep learning can be done by Python only. R do not have a capability of deep learning. In Python, you can create anything and everything. Mobile application, web interface, web scraping, websites, backend development, front-end development, anything and everything in Python you can do. In R, you can do statistical analysis and machine learning only. You cannot develop a front-end application. Front-end application means a banking domain application where you see the front screen, where you see all the boxes, name, gender, age, bank balance and everything. You see the front end. In the back end, there is some other architecture, Kubernetes or something is getting used. So in R, you cannot create a front end and the back end. You can create a reports. Suppose I'm a banking domain, I want to create a report. How many customers are going from my bank every month? I want to do statistical analysis. In R, it can be done beautifully. Even the graphs can be done very beautifully, sometimes better than Python. But R is a golden child. It is not covering complete data science. It is a programming language which caters machine learning and statistical analysis. It is not something which is robust in nature, as robust as Python is. So Python is a more robust programming language. So I would recommend more of learning Python. R, even if you focus less, that will not affect your career much, because many companies are working on R, but mostly companies are working on Python side. Okay, now coming to one important slide which I wanted to share is a generative AI. I'll talk for 5 minutes about generative AI and then we'll move on to Q&A. Now, what is generative AI? So you might have seen when you work on Google, you type any query, give me the school near me. It gives the hyperlinks. Hyperlinks are those links, when you click on those, it will give you the information which is stored somewhere in the world, maybe in India, maybe abroad, anywhere. And you go to that page, you read the whole page and you come to know the details, and you have to search a lot of things from different pages. Generative AI is made with the help of deep learning models. Imagine you scatter petabytes of data, newspaper, articles, Wikipedia, and supply all the data to the machine to learn from it, find the patterns. And you get a tool on which you talk to the tool and the tool generates a new answer for you every time. So it is not somewhere stored at one place. The model is generating on the fly and creating something new and attractive in front of you. That is called as generative AI. These are the pictures made by generative AI who won the World Best Picture Awards. And they are not man-made. A person has given the prompt. In generative AI, we call it as a prompt. Prompt means an English query, English language query. Whatever you write in English language, machine understands it and generates a picture for you. So this is the World Best Picture Award given to 2 pictures made by generative AI. If you talk about all the faces here, it looks very real to all of you. But all these are generated by generative AI. There is a website called thispersondoesnotexist.com. If you just open your browser and type this URL, thispersondoesnotexist.com, and refresh the page every time, you'll see it is generating fake faces. It is taking eyes from somewhere, nose from somewhere. I'm talking very high level features. It is taking micro features, how the face looks like, and create a new picture altogether. I'll show you one quick application of generative AI, text to text. So ChatGPT is one of the OpenAI's product, and it is open source in nature. But if you want to upload something onto ChatGPT with the help of this plus button, you can do it limited number of times in free edition, but in paid version, it's $20 per month. I write a simple prompt, write a letter for leave from my work in humble, requesting simple Indian English. Because if you do not write Indian English, it will generate the words more of a American accent or a British accent. You have to tell the intent. I have given my emotions, humble, requesting. If you write aggressive, it will write in aggressive manner. You have to give the complete prompt as if you are talking to a new child, a child who is very intelligent. If you're talking to a child, you need to explain every minor detail, right? Better you have to go from there to here. You will see a red light. You have to stop there. You have to watch for the green light, then move, then take left, then you'll reach your school. Similarly, like a baby, you have to explain what you are looking for. So once you give this prompt, it will give you to the manager, company name, respected sir and madam, I hope you are doing well. I am writing this letter to kindly request leave for my work. Personal reasons, family function, health, urgent issue at home that you have to choose. I'll make sure that my pending work is completed and handed over properly before my leave. I request you to kindly grant me leave for the above mentioned period. Now, if I want it in a more detailed manner, I can say write this in a more detailed manner. It will write in a more detailed manner. If I write this to my boss who is staying abroad to give me the confirmation on email, it will write that as well in a very easy language. So that is text to text. Similarly, you can generate text to image. You can generate some logos. You can generate some pictures. So I'll say generate an image of having paused on moon with vibrant colors. So these things does not exist at single place. The model learns from petabytes of data, and from that model it is generating on the fly something very new and unique. If I give this, will generate a new image altogether. Just predicting what I'm saying with a great accuracy and giving it to you. So based on the internet speed, it takes some time, but generally it's very fast. Nowadays you might have heard DeepSeek as well. So DeepSeek is also very upgrowing in terms of giving very good results to you, but it's taking some time. So by the time we'll see the facilities what deep learning can give, generative AI can give. So generative AI can do all these things: textual narrative, summaries, translations, product design, semantics, software code. If you write a Python code for factorial, find a factorial of a number, it will give you the Python code. If you write it in C language, it will give you a C programming code. So nowadays it's not a challenge. I told you the story in the beginning of the session that I was struggling to read the books and debug the code. Now time has changed. Now time is more towards productivity rather than spending your time much in coding in terms of learning coding. Although you should know the basic concept, but you don't have to spend a lot of time in generating a code. So this tool can generate a code on the fly. Similarly, broader implication is that it is boosting your efficiency and productivity. It is creating sparking your creativity. It is raising some policy related issues. And once you have an intelligence power, you can more focus on common sense reasoning, mastering a language, logical deduction. So you can focus more time on the productive things rather than non-productive things. If I ask you to prepare a bar chart on Excel sheet, you might take 10 minutes. But GPT, all this generative AI can generate in 5 seconds. So yes, speeding up your processing power. Let me check whether it's there. It's still processing, but generally it gives fast. Let me try it again. It has generated. See, just a one line of prompt and a beautiful image is getting generated. Imagine I would have given multiple lines with more clarity what is there in my mind. I could have given a horse having 5 feet or 6 feet, it would have generated that as well. So it is up to my creativity what I wanted to do. Similarly, movie.io is another generative AI which is generating movies on the fly. Similarly, chat PDF is another one. You can scan, you can upload your PDF of 1,000 pages, it will give summary of that. So there are hundreds of GPTs which are coming in today's world, all are in mushrooming state. But ChatGPT is one of the famous ones. That's the reason I've taken that. Even if you use Perplexity, I would recommend use Perplexity because it gives the source of the information as well, from where it has collected the information. So always use GPT as a co-pilot. Never treat it as a pilot. Whatever the answer it is giving you may be hallucinating, may be wrong. You have to validate as a human whether this answer is suited for you or not. Source of the information is important.
Now Shrikant has a question and they're asking, if I learn Python, is it possible to get a job in AI or ML?
So I'm currently on the managerial position, but I just wanted to check if I want to move to technical stuff and learn the Python, may get the job in my
background, like what you have done in computer science, you have done BTech or you have done MBA from non-technical side. May I know the background first?
I have done CDAC.
Okay. And since how long you are working as a manager?
I've been working as a manager since last 10 years.
Okay, great. So I would recommend rather than going from the Python side, because Python is more of a technical programming language. If you learn Python from the scratch, definitely it will help you to gain better knowledge about machine learning. But I would rather ask you to or request you to focus more on the implementation part of it. Preferably generative AI. Like generative AI, I have shown you some very basic examples, but you can solve a lot of problems using generative AI in terms of getting reports, getting summaries, getting letters drafted. So focus more on generative AI, which is a very upcoming field and very growing field nowadays. I would request you to go and watch some videos on generative AI, what exactly it can do. Focus more on it because you have a 10 years of experience. You are not you to go for learning Python from scratch by understanding the different data structures in Python, what is object-oriented programming. That will be a very long journey, although it is not a bad journey. But I would recommend you to go for more perspective of these tools rather than one who wants to create these tools from scratch. Suppose I want to build a chatbot. Suppose I want to build my own large language model in terms of reuse. Then I will use Python definitely, because I want to generate something new out of it for my company. For generic purpose of life, I would recommend you to use generative AI or AI ML more of a implementation perspective rather than coding perspective.
Renu's broad question is that how to learn skills for an AI job. So maybe what could be the next step after attending this presentation so that she can get deeper into these aspects?
In BTech, see, the answer lies with the different people with different interest level and different domains. So if you are a person who is studying in college, first year, second year, third year, maybe computer science, may not be computer science, any branch, it's important to learn Python from the scratch in terms of getting the basic understanding what this programming language can do. If you are in the mid of a career or starting of your career and your project requires all these skill set, then definitely learn it. Otherwise, learn it from the implementation point of view, because it's a long journey. It's not a short journey. We cannot expect ourselves to learn Python in 3 months and then learn machine learning in 3 months and then learn generative AI in 3 months and 9 months we become expert. Because alone Python never works. Python works with integration with a lot of other technologies like cloud, like open source technologies, like Unix environment. You need to know sometimes you need to know the IAM services in the cloud. Sometimes you need to know the databases like RDBMS databases like NoSQL database like MongoDB or Oracle as a structured database. So a lot of other technologies also come into picture when you are going for a development of a tool using Python. Alone Python never builds up any tool. You need to have additional technology. So as a student, you can learn all those things. But if you're a working professional, I would request you to more focus on the implementation point of view rather than the coding perspective or going very deep into what is AI, what is ML. Nowadays, without even knowing the programming language, I can write the programming Java code. Suppose I do not know Java, I just go to GPT and say write a code for factorial and finding in Java. It will give you direct code and copy paste and run it. So we don't have to spend a lot of time in learning the coding skills. Rather, we need to spend more of our time in understanding the logic behind the things and then from the implementation perspective. But if you're a student, if you are in college, if you're a student, if you're starting off your career, I would request you to learn Python. That will be an important skill set for your interview purpose, because most of the jobs nowadays are looking for one programming language, and majorly Python is very popular.
Yeah, so he's also typed, is it hard to learn the CNN beyond the deep learning? This is the question.
Deep learning is a concept, and within deep learning, there are multiple algorithms, multiple ways of implementing deep learning, right? Like, for example, if I say chemistry has multiple subtopics, right? Atoms or molecules or chemical reactions, bonding. So deep learning is a subject. Within deep learning, there's an area where image recognition happens primarily is convolutional neural network, CNN. When we try to capture hundreds of images or thousands of images of one category or second category or a number of categories, and we want to predict for the new image where it lies, then we use the deep convolutional neural networks. It has multiple layers in the hidden network. Similarly, there is another algorithm for RNN, recurrent neural networks. When you want to predict text, suppose I have given you a huge paragraph and you want to predict what comes next. You might have seen when you go to Google and you type president of, automatically the name comes, India, USA, other places. How Google comes to know? When you write the email, hello, automatically name of a person comes. How are you automatically comes. So it is predicting. So this is all happening through RNN, recurrent neural networks. There is another one, long short-term memory, LSTM. There are different algorithms, different ways for different problem areas in deep learning. So deep learning is a concept. Within that, there are multiple areas for solving different types of problems. Did I answer your query? So it is not difficult to learn CNN. In short, Prithviraj, if you know deep learning concepts, if you know Python, you can write down your code in deep learning to implement CNN part. That's not difficult part. See, in fact, I would say Python learning is one of the most difficult part. Machine learning is difficult from statistical point of view. Coding wise, it's hardly 4 or 5 lines of code or 10 lines of code. Data cleaning is a major part it takes. For that, you need to know Python primarily. Deep learning is again a very short amount of code using Keras library, and it's mostly a repetitive code. You don't have to write something very new. So coding perspective, if you talk about, Python is the most expensive, most extensive and complicated. If you compare, machine learning is lesser one and deep learning is the most easiest one from the coding perspective. But again, from the programming perspective, you talk, Python is the easiest programming language you can ever come through. If you talk about C programming language, it is 100 times difficult than Python. Python is the easiest programming language nowadays in CBSE 11th and 12th schools. I don't know about other boards. Python has already been implemented. They have implemented in the course curriculum. Even in colleges, most of the colleges are implemented Python as a course curriculum. So Python is the easiest programming language. You don't need to have a programming background for it. Only good logical ability has to be there. That's it. So CNN, of course, you can implement if you already know machine learning, if you already know Python. CNN is the easiest task you can implement. You can easily check a lot of YouTube videos already there on that. And there are a lot of Jupyter notebooks already there in GitHub and other areas. You can download it and directly try it out. There are open source databases as well for images. There are a lot of MNIST dataset and other datasets which already, they are Cipher datasets which are already having millions of images or thousands of images of different categories like car, frog, horse, different categories. You can use those free open source datasets and create your model and predict for a new image. You don't have to have a capturing all the thousands of images for implementing it.
Asking that now that you have exaggerated so much about Python and established its importance, asking the main topic in Python to learn for job purpose.
See, you cannot say what is main. Interviewer can ask you as simple question as how to concatenate string. They can ask as difficult question as how to find the correlation analysis. So there is nothing you can say depending on the job role. I would say if you're going as a fresher, learn basics of Python. I would not ask you to learn machine learning or deep learning. Basics of Python means list, topic, list, tuples, dictionaries, functions, exception handling, object-oriented programming, pandas, numpy, matplotlib. These 9 topics, max. I'll just repeat it. List, tuples, dictionaries, functions, exception handling, object-oriented programming, numpy, pandas, matplotlib. 9 things you have to be very strong. If you're going for a machine learning engineer, definitely you should know linear regression, logistic regression, decision trees, random forest, naive Bayes classifier, support vector machine, all the algorithms, by heart, how they are internally working rather than not only implementation on Python side, how statistically they are working, you should know. If you're going for a machine learning engineer role, and you should know cloud as well, because all the machine learning models are deployed on the cloud nowadays. Apart from Unix and other RDBMS knowledge is required. If you are going for a data scientist role, then you should be well versed with deep learning, all the models, all the algorithms. And if you're well versed with deep learning, of course, you are well versed with Python because you have more experience. So depending on the job role, so I would always suggest people when they come for the mentoring session, whenever you look for a job interview, see the job description. When your CV got shortlisted by company, read job description 10 times. In the job description, they clearly state down what they are looking for. And they give slashes as well, R/Python. Don't try to learn R and Python both. If they're written R/Python, learn Python extensively. Ignore R. Some basics of R is fine. If they have written cloud AWS, don't learn Azure, don't learn GCP. Prepare your interview for Azure only or AWS only. Read the job description clearly, pick up the keywords from there, write it on a piece of paper. If you have 10 job interviews in hand, or if you are applying for 10 companies, don't blindly apply on LinkedIn and apply. It's not a hit and trial method. We all are very much confused that if you apply 100 jobs, might be you will get one job. No. As if you are finding a needle on the grass ground. You will never find it. Job description that suits your requirement, write down your skill set on a paper, browse through the job. If 75% to 80% is matching, apply those jobs. By writing in your CV those keywords, what they have written on the job description, it will be shortlisted with a higher percentage, right? We have a tendency to apply blindly 100 jobs a day and expecting the interview call to come, and it never comes. Because we are doing this kind of a mistake that we are applying blindly. Don't apply blindly. Write down a skill set, match with job description. If it matches 75%, tweak your resume for that job. For the one job, tweak your resume with the correct keywords what they are looking for, because there is a bot who is filtering your resume. If 90% of keywords what is in the job description matches your resume, it will be shortlisted. It is a tedious process, but it is an effective process. Even if you apply 10 jobs in a day, probability is much higher than applying on 100.
First of all, very good evening, sir. So this is Madhuri Paswin, BCSC and ML third year. So my question is, currently I'm looking for job which is related to AI and ML because I'm really interested in that. But in our college specifically, there is no company which they are hiring, for AI and ML related role for freshers. And in addition to that, I searched a lot of job descriptions in Google or LinkedIn. They are not actually hiring freshers for this kind of roles. They are expecting experienced person. So what would be your advice for someone who want to get a job in AI and ML related role as a fresher?
Okay, that's a very good question you've asked. And can you tell me what kind of job role you are getting when the companies are approaching? What kind of role they are giving?
Sir, it's very normal, sir, like a software developer role. They are not specific. They are not specific to some skill set or nothing. They are just hiring based on DSA skills and normal aptitude. That's it.
Okay. See, if you want to become an AI ML engineer or a machine learning engineer or a data scientist in the future, always opt for a job where coding is involved. Ask the hiring person whether I'll be doing coding on day in day out or not. That is first. Second question you ask, whether I'll be doing testing or not. Because there are a lot of testing, automated testing, manual testing. Whether I'll be working like a customer care executive, whether I'll be working like a data analyst, whether I'll be working closely with the data or not. You should be able to get these answers from the interviewer. If you are getting a developer role, let it be Java, let it be C++, let it be Python, go for it. Because you are anyways doing programming. You are not out of the programming board. If you are doing programming in Java, Python is cakewalk. If you are doing programming in C++, Python is cakewalk. You can shift any time in your career and write down in your resume that you have done some part of the coding in Python. For the developer role, if you are getting, go for it. Never be a choosy person that, okay, I want AI ML only, because a lot of startup companies are doing AI ML. They will hire you and they can fire you very fast. Because startup companies are something which are very, we can say, fragile in nature. They're very aggressive in nature. So if you're getting a startup company, not a stable company, I would suggest not to go for it, because startup companies are very risky companies. You can grow up to heaven or you can go down to hell. Because startups are a very aggressive nature. They are profit-making companies. They want products to be delivered. You have to be ready for 18 hours a day work. Although you learn a lot, but there's a risk of job. So always go for a better company where brand value is good. First of all, if you're looking for IBM, American Express, GE Capital, or Amazon or Flipkart, established brand names will give you career stability. First of all, if you are getting a role of a software engineer, go for it. If you're getting a role for a tester, even you can try for it. But if you're getting a role of customer care executive, debugger, or any kind of a person who is debugging the code written by somebody else, or data analyst role in the initial career, data analyst also is not a bad role, but you can consider. But if you're getting a role where your coding is not involved, your skill set is not required, but they are giving training on their tool. I'll give you an example. For example, there's a tool called Ab Initio. You might have not heard. It's a very old tool. It's a data warehousing tool. The company called GE, when I was there working on the GE Capital, they trained me for 6 months on Ab Initio tool only. Before that, I was working with IBM. I was doing coding in Perl programming and C++ programming. I went to GE Capital, switched my job, and I came to know that 6 months I have done nothing in C++, Java. I lost all my knowledge of programming. And I quit that job and I went to HSBC and did SAS programming because I was interested in programming only. So if your company where you're going, they're training you on the tool, certain tool, and you feel that this tool is not going to grow your career, this tool remains with this company only as a proprietary, you're not growing. Go with a company where you feel that the growth is there in terms of your skill set, what you're looking for. And there are a lot of companies who are hiring freshers. If you talk about Infosys, they have a campus in Mysore. Every month they are hiring hundreds of freshers. Apply on their website. All the product-based companies, it's your first preference. Product-based companies means the companies who are delivering the products, like Amazon, like Flipkart, like Microsoft, like IBM. IBM is more of a service industry. Product-based companies, Adobe, best company in this world, I can say. Very good environment, very good working culture, very highly paid people, and people are there for last 40 years in the same company. I've given trainings to Adobe. So look for a product-based companies always. They are always better than service-based industries. Like Accenture is a service-based industry more. The culture is very aggressive. People are working 18 hours a day. But if you talk about Adobe, culture is very cool. People are not even bothered to go to the office. They know their responsibilities. They are doing their job. First preference is product-based company. That is the first preference. Product-based company. Second preference, coding role has to be there. Let it be small, let it be high, even debugging up to some extent. Testing is also fine. Never go as a customer care executive. You will get a lot of jobs from Amazon and other big companies. Even Amazon, you are working in the night shift, solving the problems of a customer on the phone, hanging up the phone. Because first job determines your career lifelong. Because you'll show it as experience. So choose it very wisely. Don't take it in aggression that I'll not get the job if campus placement will not happen. It will happen. If you have a knowledge, it will happen. Only thing is what knowledge matters. If you have confidence in you, that you have a good knowledge in Python, you have a good knowledge in technology, cloud and all those things, sooner or later you will get it. But don't go in aggression that, okay, ask the job le leti. That will be, you will be in the trap. You will be in the working environment where you will remain there for 1 year. Then you'll start looking for a data scientist role or a machine learning engineer role. Your CV says something else. You will be in the big trap, right? So product-based company is the first priority. Secondly, the coding skill set that you're looking for, maybe in any programming language, that's your second priority. Third priority is look for a company wherein you can feel that, okay, I can shift my career from one department to another. That never happens in startup. In big companies, it happens. Internal job posting comes and you can go from one product department to the development department. That actually happens if you're a good employee. So that is always possible. Okay. Always we have a skilling community manager, Shungji, who can always help you out in more details of this. I'm not expert on this domain basically. I'm telling you whatever experience I am carrying. Based on my experience, I'm telling you. So to final words in all the people from different parts of the career, maybe a student, maybe manager, maybe very senior people. From my experience, I'll tell you, not from the technical perspective, leaving aside data science and machine learning, everything. I believe in two things in the life. One is hard work. If you are sincerely doing hard work for your career, for your family, for anything and everything, maybe for your physical appearance, maybe for getting a job, maybe for any kind of a thing that you want in life, hard work is one thing which is always required. There is no shortcut for it. If you do not have a good knowledge, even if you apply 1,000 jobs, maybe you'll get one job, but you'll not be able to survive that. So hard work is required throughout the life. Our childhood days are gone till 6th or 7th standard when we enjoyed our lives and we say, okay, parents are there, they will take care of me. We are out of that life. And I realized from my personal experiences that every step is a hard working day for every person throughout the world. Let it be anything and everything. So hard working, you should never stop, never disappoint yourself that, okay, I'll not get this thing. You can get, time will come when you'll get, but you will get. consistent hard work is required for any area. That is one thing. And second thing is, all is well. I always love that Amir Khan's dialogue, all is well. Even if it is not going well, say it is well. God has some plans for you. So these two things, if you remember, you will always face courage to come out of the difficult times. You will always have courage to get anything what you want in your life. So all the best to all of you. My wishes are always there with you. And in case you want to connect with me, as Shrung has said, you can connect 101 with me. I have kept my calendar open all the 7 days from evening 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. If you want to connect with me any point of time, you need personalized guidance, you need path how to learn Python from the scratch. I share some videos, links to you, YouTube channels to you from where you can learn. I'll share my own recordings with you where I taught Python to different corporates. Even from the data science perspective, deep learning, if you want to learn something, you want some material, books, I have more than 500 books of machine learning and deep learning with me. So you can always approach me at any point of time. You can just mail it across to our Wadhwani Foundation, and we will be definitely happy to groom up your career. That's the mission of our Wadhwani Foundation, to make some impact in the society. And it's a very natural, motivating for me as well, that we are doing something for the society. So thank you all for joining us.